Begin tonight with a story you will see only on ABC 57 News. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Jennifer Copeland.
And I'm Brian Conybeare. The tragic house fire that killed these 6 siblings last month is changing the way the South Bend Housing Authority does its business.
ABC 57 investigative reporter Kevin Wormhold is live outside the Porte Avenue rental home that went up in flames with those exclusive details tonight. Kevin.
That's right, Brian. Jen, the goal is to implement a process to get information about unsafe living conditions that is discovered by the Housing Authority over to code enforcement. Now, there's also a push to better vet property owners who participate in the Housing Choice Voucher Program.
We went there and found deficiencies, notified the landlord, and gave them a 30-day notice to cure the deficiencies. And at the 30-day point, they had not cured the deficiencies.
The Housing Choice Voucher Program gives the Housing Authority the power to inspect properties which participate in the program both yearly and when the tenant reports a problem. The previous residents of 222 LaPorte Avenue asked for help from the Housing Authority last year. They did find violations, and the property owner was given 30-day notice. According to the Housing Authority, the problems were not addressed, and the tenant ended up moving out.
The family had relocated out of the unit because they did not feel safe because of the things that were identified at that unit.
A few months later, a new family moved in, but a fire broke out on the evening of January 21st, claiming the lives of 6 children. The cause of that fire is still being investigated. Now, the new director of the Housing Authority, Marsha Palmer Green, is promising changes on how information is shared with city code enforcement.
Our inspectors are not able to write a code enforcement citation, but they can identify those deficiencies. And so we just have to work on a mechanism to get that information to code enforcement, and vice versa, they get that information to us.
And in other words, the Housing Authority and code enforcement are run separately, and there are no guidelines for how they should communicate. Green also wants to make sure property owners who participate in the Housing Choice Voucher Program are properly vetted.
We want to look at historically how many of those units, even for the ones that are currently on the program, how many deficiencies have you've had over the past year? Are your properties always going into fail status at the annual or through complaints?
I reached out to the city for code enforcement records on the LaPorte Avenue house, but they told me they had no record of structural complaints in the last few years. Now, there's been a push for legislation in the state Senate to improve tenant rights through Senate Bill 277. Now, I spoke to the Republican Senator Greg Walker, who's one of the authors of that bill, and he told me that he does not think there's enough support for that bill to pass this year. Back to you guys.
Kevin, it is a major issue. Thank you very much for that report. Now, a public memorial service for the 6 young victims you see right there is set for Monday, this coming Monday, February 4th, at the Century Center in downtown South Bend. And as a public service, ABC 57 News will live stream the service on our Facebook page and our website at abc57.com.